Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? No, it's not. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. Who the heck knows what day of the week it is these days if you're stuck inside. Welcome to episode number 4. Episode number 4 of the Producer's Perspective Live. Look at this big house we have tonight. All these people out there. Hello, Scott. Hello, Heather. Hello, Luciana. Where are you folks from? Please comment in the comment box here in the chat box where you're from. Give us a shout out where you're calling from, where you're Skyping in from, Zooming in from, StreamYarding in from, whatever we're doing right now. Welcome. I'm so thankful you're all here. We're having some fun. We've been doing this now for, like I said, 4 days, and it's off to a great start. We had Steven Schwartz the other night telling us stories about bad lyrics he wrote. We had Sierra Boggess last night telling us about these nightmare neighbors that she used to have. They used to tell her to stop singing. I mean, who would tell Sierra Boggess to stop singing? So we've been having a lot of fun. I'm glad you're here. First of all, I hope you can hear me. I'm seeing lots of states, right? So you can obviously hear me very well. We had sound on that very first issue, but a little sound problem. But sounds like you can hear me now. We are still figuring out the technical aspects of this platform. It's still new to us, so we're still figuring out all the features. I did figure out I can do this, though. I can do this. Watch this. Go, Mary. Go. Do it. Here we go. Maybe we can do it. Can we do it? There. No. Oh, there's Mary. Ooh. We can make it small. That's about it. That's about the special effects, the CGI of our live stream. Welcome to it. We had no idea Mary was going to show up, but that's what happens when it's live. A quick shout out, a couple things of reminder why we're here. We're here to draw some attention to this great organization called the Actors Fund, who are, if you have a few extra bucks, I'll take anything right now. They're going to be called on for a lot of stuff and a lot of support from a lot of people that are out of work right now because of the coronavirus crisis. So do check out the Actors Fund. You can volunteer. You can do lots of stuff, even if you can't give some cash. Also, don't forget that we're going to be here till it's over. We're all stuck inside, but it's very important, of course, that we all stay inside right now. Stay inside, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay home. That's what we're encouraging everyone to do. Those are really the big reasons why we're doing this, and also just to bring a little bit of joy into and a little bit of theater into your living room, because I know you can't actually have it right now. We've got great guests lined up for the next several weeks. We're talking. I think we have like over 3 weeks of guests booked already. Here's the rest of this week. Yeah, we're doing the weekends because who knows what day of the week it is. All next week, we've got people lined up after that, some pretty big folks too. So keep your eye on Facebook, and we will let you know. There's where you can see the full schedule. So before we bring on Alex, I just wanted to ask you, so what are you guys doing? Tell me what you've been doing over the last several days if you've been trapped inside. In fact, tell me like the most unique thing you've done that you didn't expect to do during this shutdown. Like, what have you been doing? Nothing. Streaming, all that stuff, obviously watching here, which is great. Anyone doing it, making a Beetlejuice poster? How very specific. College homework, great. Anyone doing anything weird? Anyone doing anything different, strange? I'm potty training my kid. I mean, why not? Perfect time. We're stuck inside. We got no place to go. We're potty training the kid. That's what we're doing. I'm also, this is a great tip, I'm also a big fan of online acting class. Great. So I'm a big fan of masterclass.com. I don't know if any of you know this, masterclass.com. But this is a great, you can learn everything from cooking. I also cooked a meal tonight, by the way. I've never cooked in my entire life. I cooked a meal. It was not very good, but I did cook it. So masterclass.com is a great place. You can learn all sorts of things from chess to cooking. Angela Weber's got one. There's like tons of them on there. I'm a big fan of it. We have no relationship with them whatsoever. I just like it. So check that out. I have been today taking I think I listened into like 6 or 7 different conference call webinars about all sorts of things, including some marketing stuff, some business stuff. And I thought I'd share. This is one that was set up by our industry, but this guy from Google you may have heard of them, pretty big company. They're going to be okay through this. They are not shut down. They are not shut down. They're doing just fine. In fact, they're spiking search traffic like crazy. But here's the cool thing that this executive at Google said about live theater, entertainment, etc., about what he expects to happen in a few weeks, months, whenever we get our arms wrapped around this thing. Mary, show that quote. Social distancing, what we're all doing right now, right, is making us miss and appreciate sports, music, arts, and theater. And it's driving up pent-up demand for fun and live entertainment. That is what Google is saying right now. That's what we heard today. And that, of course, got me all excited and something I mentioned. Can you imagine that first night when they light up those marquees and raise that curtain on these Broadway shows? Can you imagine what it's going to be like to be inside that room? Yes, that's right. When those tickets go on sale again, and we know we're going to do there, snatch up tickets to your favorite show and go, because that first night in the theater is going to be absolutely electric. So one show that you might want to see could be, we have the star with us tonight. Let's bring on Alex Brightman right now, the star of Beetlejuice. Alex, there's a whole bunch of people waiting for you. Join us.
I have joined.
Oh, there he is. I'm always amazed when it actually works, to be honest.
I'm amazed at technology still. I don't know how garage doors work when they do like when you press something from far away and it opens. That still astounds me. I feel taller than you right now.
You are taller than me right now. All I have to do is this.
Good. That's in it's in every interview writer. I want to be taller than those.
I think this is really good. I'm just going to conduct the rest of the interviews like this.
No, please don't do that, because then I'm going to be constantly checking my under chin.
Tell everyone where you are right now.
I'm in Oklahoma.
You're living it out there.
Yes. Well, I like the musical. I wanted to see what the place was like.
Is it like the revival or is it like the original?
Right now, it's much more like the revival. So it's pretty bleak out here, but it is certainly the reason that we came out here was it is less chaotic than New York City where we live, and it's a lot more space for my dog to play and walk around, and it just is a little calmer here. And if you're going to isolate, and we had the luxury of being able to isolate somewhere else, that's what we did. So we're here for the foreseeable future, and just trying to take it day by day. There's no information, so it's like very hard to speculate. So until there's information, we're just gonna, try to not gain 500 pounds, and which is impossible.
Impossible.
It's impossible.
I'm it like the COVID-15 instead of COVID. Everyone's gonna come out of this thing with an extra health. Yes.
Well, the good news is there'll be a hell of a lot more character actors after this is over, which is great. But yeah, no, we're for. Not to do the cliche like it could be worse, but it could be worse for us. We're very fortunate to have a place and food to eat and all that kind of stuff. So we're good. I'm at a calm currently.
And you are stuck inside, right? You guys aren't going outside at all.
We only doing the things that when you need to. It's I walk my dog, but there's no one to run into here. It's one of the beauties of where we're living. There's literally almost nobody, and it's suburban, but it's very different than where I'm from, San Jose, California. It's the suburban is very much like New York, because everyone's on top of each other. So
your wife? You're with your wife?
Yeah, and my family. Yeah. Oh,
your in-laws?
Yeah.
So no one's watching. How's that? How's living with your in-laws?
It's the best. They are truly the best. And I was just saying that, like, it's like that. They're my kind of family because they're the type that doesn't expect to like fill every moment, and neither do I. Except for when I'm working, but like when it's time to have downtime, it's like, oh, great, now we have downtime. Should we do this? I like to sit and be on my phone sometimes. I like to watch Great British Baking Show, and they are totally down with all of that. And so we're knocking out a lot of movies together. We're cooking a lot. And so, yeah, everyone is very good.
You mentioned working. So the first thing, like, what did you do the first day you were stuck inside? Like, did you go through a shock period for someone like you, who I'm sure thrives on being around people?
I had a weird, my sort of like story about how this all happened, the Broadway thing, was I was actually out of the show for 3 days before they closed Broadway. So I had a small, non-threatening infection on my vocal cords. Singers get them all the time. It's very benign. It's just you need to take some time off. So I took a Saturday and Sunday off, and or a Monday, whatever it was, that it led into the day off. And then the day we were supposed to come back was the day Broadway closed. And I sort of got news early that morning that something was going on, and people were feeling unsafe to come into the theater, which I totally understood, and also kind of encored, and because we were unsure what was going on. We had seen that like someone in Moulin Rouge, they had like canceled the show, and so things started to seem very real. And I'm a big basketball fan, so when I saw, we were watching the Oklahoma City Thunder game when it shut down live, like we were watching the game, and they were watching the warm-ups on NBA, whatever the app is, and we watched the players in real time. We're like, what is going on? And everyone's leaving. And then that's from that moment to right about now, it's always been a bit weird, because it really is that weird movie scenario where you're like, this is a thing that you see in movies. So there was a bit of a shock, but I had heard it was going to be like a week and a half, 2 weeks at one point. So I was like, great, whatever, it's like, it'll give me some nice vocal rest. It'll this and that. And then once we sort of started sensing chaos in the air, we sort of quickly got out of Dodge and drove here. We've been here for nearly 2 weeks. And so, yeah, we sort of sensed it, right, because by the time we got here, it was bad. And it was bad meaning like the time that it's going to take for things to get better is much longer than when we left New York. So, yeah, it's very strange, and it's different day to day, hour to hour. You have like moments of like, wow, this is kind of nice. Like I don't get to spend time with the people I love a lot of the time because we all have opposite schedules, and now we have the same schedule. So it's nice. There is a thing, because I do miss my wife when I'm in the show, and I do miss my family. I do get to miss phone calls and call my grandma, and I forget because so it is nice to kind of go. I have so many hours in the day, and now I want to fill them with the things that I'm not able to do all the time. So
yeah, it's great. And listen, this is one of the reasons why we started doing this, is a comment exactly like that, because what I love about theater people is you found a bright spot of being around your family. I know the same thing for me. I get to hang around my daughter a little bit more. I never would be doing that right now. So you have to find these moments in this dark.
You have to. And I was just talking to one of our cast members, shout out to Ramon Owens. And we were just chatting on the phone, and he said, and I don't think he would hate me for saying it. He's like, should I feel guilty that I don't feel bad right now? And I said, no, I think that you will eventually at some point feel everything, because I think this is untested waters for a lot of us who have never experienced something like this. So I've felt moments of like, wow, I'm really happy to have the day off today. And then the next day I'm like, God, I really want to do something. Like I want to do my show. I want to do something, So I think that the good news is like, it is good to find the bright spots, and actors are pretty damn good. Creative people are pretty damn good at finding that silver lining. But I think doubly so, actors are also good at, accepting the fact that some of this is going to suck. And just to be able to, that's okay that it's going to suck. It can be like 2 days of suck, and you don't have to feel guilty for like trying to muscle your way out of the suck. It just sucks. Like life is not cool right now. So, it's okay to wallow a bit. If you start making it your persona, then, that's when I feel like I personally would need to like start having a hobby. But, I think it's fine to feel everything during this time rather than trying to jump to feeling positive.
And what you mentioned working, what else do you sing when you're off like this? Do you keep yourself like in that kind of shape? Do you write as well? So tell me how else you're filling your day to keep your creative juices flowing.
First of all, I have my full range of voice back, which is amazing. I was just singing my falsetto all day today because I could.
What song? Were you singing a specific song?
I was singing to my dog. This is how I do it in New York too. Sing it full voice to my dog walking down the street, and now I can just do it with abandon, because so it's like, Kevin, you are a good boy who walks with his dad. Like literally walking down the street with sunglasses on, like a psychopath. But I would never be able to sing like that were it not for this quarantine. So
we're getting a lot of requests to see Kevin, by the way, just so.
It's the time of day where a lot of people walk their dogs outside the window that you cannot see. And if I had him here right now, you wouldn't be able to hear me because he has a very loud and persistent bark. So I put him outside. So I apologize, but I will make up for it on Twitter. I'll post lots of what's being called Kevin content, which I'm loving, with a K. But yeah, to keep going back to your question, I will show you Kevin, I promise. That I am doing a ton of writing. I've had like lots of self-made deadlines for myself on projects that I'm definitely not getting paid for. So it's like that's when you have to pretend you're getting paid to make these deadlines work. I'm still writing with Drew Gasparini. We've been writing forever, it seems, and it's the best. And if you were a writer and you want a writing partner, you have to find one like similarly how I found Drew, like somebody who is, in equal measure a very good friend to talk to and bounce ideas off of, but also somebody who can say, I don't agree with that, and you can argue and fight and still know at the end of the day you're friends, but your friendship part doesn't get in the way of your creativity, which I think is very interesting. So we're writing. We have this show. It's kind of a funny story that's based on the movie and the novel, and we have taken huge next steps with that. I don't know if we can necessarily announce what the next step is, but it is a next step, and there's a very big workshop around the corner, wherever that corner might be, and
maybe no.
Yeah, who knows? Whatever. I'll put it on in my living room if someone will let me.
We'll live tweet that if you want to. Just let us know.
Okay, great. And then I've been working as funny as I am known to be. I do tend to write sort of dark plays, and 2 plays that I've been developing over the last number of years are starting to kind of catch fire a little bit before this virus took everybody down. And so I've just finished 2 brand new drafts of that. That's how I've had time. So I knocked out 2 new drafts of these 2 plays. One of them is called Everything is Fine, which is about a family that is dealing with their deceased son's 2-year anniversary of his death. And you find out that his death was actually the result of a mass mall murder that he committed. And it's about the idea of escaping an identity you didn't give yourself. The idea of a lot of people talk to the victims in those times, and I thought it was interesting when I researched it that the kid from Columbine's mom has this TED talk, which fascinated me, about how she's able to continue to live life even though her son's name is synonymous with mass death. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was fascinating. The idea of this: is it ever possible to escape identity when everybody knows it from something? So I wrote this kind of play asking that question, and the other, so it's hilarious, and it's a musical, and no, it's not. But the other play I wrote is called "We Left It Here," and it is about 5 guys nearing 40 years old coming home for their 6th friend's funeral, and end up at their high school quad, where in senior year they had buried a time capsule in the quad, and they dig it up. To find everything that they, had forgotten or imagined would be in there and remembered. And then sort of in there also is sort of this anonymous information about whether or not somebody did sexually assault a girl in high school. And, it becomes, the question is that I like to answer questions with plays. And so the question is sort of, are all of your friends really friends, or are some of your friends merely accomplices as you kept for a long time? And so, it kind of goes it sort of becomes very, it starts out very like a contemporary kind of bro-y kind of play. And then it kind of like very quickly dives into big language, muddy, bloody, sort of like these guys might have never been friends and to have one awful thing that connects them. And so it is, when all this Brett Kavanaugh stuff came out, ironically, it was like, wow, this is exactly the person I'm talking about. This person who believes that this, just because of who they are, they can get away with things. And I thought, I went to an all-boys Jesuit prep high school. And so I saw a lot of this energy. Mm. And so I wanted to write about this energy that I found fascinating that was at the school. But I also, I wanted to pull back the curtain on people like this and really show them for who they are, which are monsters. And not shine any sort of humanizing light on them. It really is a play about 5 of the worst people I could come up with. And so, yeah, including me, I'm represented in the play as sort of, just to give some sort of perspective in the play. The eyes of the play are sort of me-ish.
So a musical a play about death, a play about monsters. No wonder you're playing Beetlejuice.
I know, dude. Yeah, well, I mean, I have a twisted brain for sure. I mean, like some of my favorite stuff is twisted and dark and Stephen King, and so I don't ever really get to act that a lot. And Beetlejuice kind of gives me that amazing opportunity to do all the things: comedy mixed with dark, mixed with scary, mixed with naughty and X-rated stuff, and like that is one of the things I miss dreadfully about not doing the show, is that I don't get to exercise any of those demons, no pun intended, nightly. So I'm exercising them in a new way, just through a computer and a script and ideas and, just stuff for later, like ammo for later.
Yeah, you found another outlet for it. I mean, it's just what I love about your performance. It's just so obvious that you are just having the best time. Yeah, I noticed this about School of Rock too. It just, is watching you is just you obviously so inhabit those characters and just love what you do so much, and those people.
I do. I mean, I think the new definition of insanity should be like doing a musical but not liking doing it, because it's always so hard. It's so much work. It typically doesn't pan out the way you want it to. I was in Big Fish, and we worked on it like crazy, and we had all this love for it, and it closed in 3 months on Broadway. So you could be a lot more unhappy doing a way more lucrative job. I always say that. I'm like, if you are ever complaining about the show that you are in, go work any other job for 8 hours and tell me that you don't miss the stage.
Yeah.
And if you can, and then maybe perhaps you will find another career. But like, I think it's so silly that we get paid to do this thing. Weird Al Yankovic, my agents are going to kill me for saying that, but Weird Al Yankovic has one of my favorite quotes, which is, "People pay me to do the thing I have a compulsion to do anyway." Mm-hmm. And that is like exactly how I feel, one for one. It's exactly how I feel.
So listen, I literally will produce shows, and they, like, a check will show up, and I'll be like, "Oh, right, I forgot that when these things work out, we get money for them."
I want to do shows because I want to do them. I want to do shows because I want to see them. Like I'm desperate to see Beetlejuice. I hear it's quite good, but I don't get to see it. So it's like, it's like the next best thing is to just do it and watch and find other things. And I miss, and as you said, just to tag on that, I miss the people so crazily bad. I love everybody, and every cast is different, and that you work with, and there are no hierarchies of like good and bad cast. It's a family, so it's everything. But I desperately what I miss the most about this cast, which is specific to this show, among others, is this is a cast from top to tail comedians. And I am most comfortable around comedians because they don't, there's a lot of ego. There's a lot of like grandstanding, but there's a lot of love and a lot of there's no offense really being taken in the building. So a lot of people know that like what we're trying to do is be funny. We're not trying to hurt people. And I love being around people like that, because then you can just laugh if something's funny. A lot of people, in the real world will be offended on behalf of people, and that's, to me, is one of the weirdest things in the world. If I find something funny, I laugh. Now I can obviously understand when something is also wrong. But in the moment I find something funny, I'm going to laugh. I'm not going to go, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that," or "I'm offended." Now I'm going to write a Twitter post about me being offended. It's just a waste of energy. Laughing is so much more fruitful. Yeah, well, you're why you have so many fans is you make so many people laugh, and we have so many of your fans on tonight. Let's ask. Let's get some questions going. I don't even know what this means. Maybe you do. Let's hear it.
Claire Westcott says, "My first introduction was through a YouTube poop." I don't even know what that means.
For YouTube poop?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I hope there isn't a video of me pooping anywhere on YouTube, but if there is, I hope I'm monetizing it somehow. There is a song that Drew Gasparini and I wrote. This could be what she was talking about. We did a show called The Morons. That's insane. I don't know what that means. That just seeing it on screen makes it even more ludicrous. But I do like your profile picture, Claire Westcott. That's a very cool costume, and it looks handmade, and I'm digging it. Drew and I wrote a song for something we called The Morons Happy Hour. We did this sold out pack show at the Slipper Room, where it was just, we could never produce it today with the content that was in it, but that was then. And we wrote a song highlighting the art of women pooping, that like the idea that everybody poops, but also women poop. So that might be it. It was me being like, and it's a wonderful thing.
Is it on YouTube?
I don't think it is anymore. But I hope that, either way, it baited me into a good story. So thank you, Claire.
Well, let's ask a question that I know is on a lot of your fans' minds. Ryan Wester asked, any hope of Beetlejuice finding another theater? We have any word? You have any inside scoop on what's happening, especially with this going on? Like
especially with this going on part is where it gets dicey, because each day we move towards June 6th, which was our sort of eviction date. It sort of becomes this question of like, okay, well, next week we're not gonna be in the theater. Probably next week after that we're not gonna be. So you have to look ahead a little bit and look that it's starting to become a little odd and a little like scary for people that are in the show. I know that there's this rumor floating around that Beetlejuice did, sort of shot the moon and found another theater, and that rumor's been flying around, and I can't really confirm that. But but yeah, it's like it's like anything now. It's like, who knows? So I would love my dream is that the world does what they need to do, which is stay the hell inside and be smart. And if you want to see shows, then you have to not see shows for a minute. And my hope is that maybe we go back to the Winter Garden, but maybe we just reopen the show, like do a full new opening, and like Beetlejuice can, again, no pun completely intended, come back from the dead. So that's my hope. And I know very little actual information. I knew more information before this awful thing happened. So I know a lot less now.
Not many people do anything right now.
Well, that's the thing. It's like so many unanswered questions. I mean, my hope is yes. If I had the power and if I had some hidden vaccine somewhere, I would release it now. But I don't have it.
What I will. This is Brittany Smith asked, would you ever have thought Beetlejuice would be so popular, and how does it make you feel? And what I want to just piggyback on that is because you started out here, right?
Yeah.
Reviews are
almost here.
Right, and even in DC, it was even tougher. And then, frankly, people like Brittany Smith and Lorelei Soper, people like that are fans of yours, they and of the show, they all of a sudden you're doing this. So how does that feel when you start getting that love back on stage?
I mean, amazing. We actually didn't know, typically from the actual stage, we felt like we were doing a pretty damn good show, because it's the live feedback is always great. It's the sort of what John August calls, I think he calls it refrigerator logic. John August wrote Big Fish, the movie and the book to the musical. And John August called it refrigerator logic, which is like you leave the show and you're like, that was amazing. And then you're at home staring at your refrigerator later going, that part didn't make sense. And that part didn't make, it wasn't really a great show. So I think a lot of that happened in DC and maybe in the first parts of Broadway. So I'm not a dummy. I saw the numbers, I saw the audiences, and I was like, I don't know if we're going to run. And then where we turned this corner was the Tony Awards. And right before that, we'd done this like curated version of the opening number a couple of times where we changed the lyrics and we featured stuff that wasn't necessarily in the show and just made it fun and interactive and crazy. And so people got a sense of like, oh, this is what the show's about. And we weren't trying to do an adaptation, lowercase adaptation. We were doing an adaptation of a source material. We took it and ran with it. And the Tony Awards happened, and we were the most number one. I think we still are the number one streamed Tony performance of that year by a lot. And then the album came out the same week, and the album is what sent this thing over the edge. And so and really quickly, because I don't know if we'd be having this eviction notice problem if this happened earlier, because of that stop clause thing, which I now know everything about. Didn't know anything about it, and now I know everything about it. But so I am thrilled. The fan base has been unbelievable, and not in a creepy way, which I so easily could tip that way because it's Beetlejuice and it's a dark source material with a dark lead and sort of like, it's edgy. And so the fans feel like they might want to be edgy back. And they've been so kind and so sweet that it was very surprising. And now it's become normal, which is awesome, that they're just awesome. And on the street, they're nice and they follow the rules. of like being a person when you're also a person. They don't look at you like a theme park character. So everybody's super nice. And the one regret I have for this quarantine is I did not bring my next big pile of fan mail that I could have plenty of time to answer at this point. It's sitting in my apartment in New York City. So anyone in the last couple of months before this shutdown who'd sent me fan mail, I have it. I just don't know when I'm going to be able to answer it just yet, but I will.
But why don't you just give your home address there in Oklahoma?
Oh, okay, yeah, great. Yeah, if you could just splash it across the street and my phone number and social security number.
Here right now.
Yeah.
Do that. We'll do one more question. Christina Garcia, what would you say to an underage young lady whose parents doesn't want her to be an actress?
That's a tough one. That's like, I've gotten that question before, and my answer is similar, but I can always find ways to vary, the answer. Beautiful image, by the way. Are those poppies? What if she was like, no, that's actually the strain of coronavirus? Here's what I got to say about that. Your parents are your parents. They're going to have their thoughts. They're going to have their opinions. And I've never had this perspective when I first started talking about this, but I understand the worry of a parent of a kid that wants to do theater as a career, anything creative as a career, because by nature, it is not infinite. And by nature, it is not steady. So it's like you make your leaps like this. Everything happens like this. Doesn't do this. It never does. Not for anybody. And anybody that tells you that's how it happens, they're wrong. So I would say if you are truly passionate about the thing that you are doing, whether it's writing or acting, it seems it's acting in this case, or musical theater, like I am, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt this is what I needed to do. And as I grew up and kept going forward, it became the only thing I was passionate about and wanted to work harder at. Then you have to give it a shot. You have one life that you know of. So unless you're certain that you're going to get another shot at this life, it is worth your while to have conversations with your parents, real conversations, not arguments, not fights, not losing conversations, not accusatory, a real out of the blue, catch them while they're vulnerable conversations that says, I really want to discuss this as an opportunity for me as a career option. And there are plenty of people that it has worked out for, and you're listening to one of them. It's not easy. It's never been easy. It will never be easy. It has not been for me. It will never be. I plan on auditioning until the day I die. And so you have to love it. And if not 100% of you loves it, just in the back of your mind, think of something that you might want to something else you might want to try and give it a shot. And if you love that, stick with that. But if you love it, keep doing it. That's my advice. I sympathize with your parents because you're probably a whack job just like me. And we have you right here, all the whack jobs on Broadway. We feel for you. We want you. We have you. We are embracing you. But know that your parents look at this like a business, which it is. So they have every right to be worried. But if you're not worried, then you need to show them why you're not.
I love it. Everybody say it with me. Alex Brightman, Alex Brightman, Alex Brightman.
What if I just disappeared?
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Family, and stay safe. And we'll see you back here on Broadway very, very soon.
Can I say one thing before I go?
Yes, although I have to say this, I love that you and Sierra Boggett both have been like, can I just say one more? Of course, you're Alex Brightman. Say whatever.
Well, I don't. I have dinner to eat, but I do want to say this one thing because I never got to say it as all these questions came in. It does not weigh lightly on me how many people love our show and how many people love the thing we do and how many people comment on Twitter about things I've written, things I've done. Kevin mostly. Kevin's more famous than I am at this point. So he should be doing this interview. But that's number one. A big blanket thank you to everybody who's just been, I don't like saying fans, but a fan, just being awesome. And so thanks. Two, and I can't stress this enough, please, if you think that you're one of those people that just like, oh, I don't catch diseases, I'm going to go to a bar tonight. Don't. Just stay inside because there's plenty of things to watch. There's so much Netflix. There's so much Hulu. There's so much Producer's Perspective Live. They have guests every night. Stay inside and do everyone a favor so we can all get back to doing the things we want to do. Not just us, but you too. let's get back to not having a permanent snow day.
I love it. Alex, thank you so much for sharing that very important message. Thanks for being here tonight. Give Kevin a big kiss for us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, Ken. Bye, everybody. Thanks again.
Poof, he disappeared. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we have a very interesting and very unique guest, Rick Miramontes. If you don't know who Rick is, he was actually my very first podcast guest, my very first one. He is one of the most powerful press agents on Broadway. So he's actually working a heck of a lot right now. He reps big celebrities. He represents big shows. He's a spin master. He did Spider-Man. He does a ton of stuff, and he's going to give us a real insight on what's happening, how Broadway is going to get back going again, and his, again, insights into everything that's going on from a press perspective right now. And maybe he'll tell us some juicy Spider-Man stories as well. So join me for Rick Miramontes, and we've got a whole bunch of other guests coming up. Don't forget, mark your calendar, go to my Facebook page, see the full schedule at theproducersperspective.com/live. If you missed any of the episodes, Stephen Schwartz, Sierra Boggess, or you love Alex Brightman so much that you just want to watch him again and again, go to my Facebook page, and you can watch it again and again and again. Don't forget about the Actors Fund. And don't forget about Alex's very, very, very important comment. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay home. Stay home, and this will be over sooner. It's just that simple, and you may actually help save somebody's life in the process. In the meantime, spend your day productive tomorrow. Go do something, write something, create something, act something, sing something, get together online with some people, but don't stop living. This will be over soon. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.